Welcome back, guys. Today I'm out on a little bit of an adventure here. The air's pretty close today. It's hot and humid and the bugs are terrible. You can see them all flying around my face. They're not all biting bugs. Some of them are just nuisance bugs that try to get in your eyeballs. But what I want to turn on the camera and talk to you a bit today about is, sort of the cycle of life here in the woods. I've been hiking around a lot and, seeing lots of cool things. But sometimes you actually come across sort of things that have passed away in the woods and are kind of returning to the earth. So stay tuned. I'll show you what I found. And just a warning, this will be showing, an animal that has passed away in the woods. So for sensitive viewers, please keep that in mind. So I was hiking in on this trail right here. It's pretty thick into the woods. And kind of wet, it just rained. And we've had a bear in the area. So I've been really, really careful. I do have my bear spray on me right now, which you can see is sort of strapped to my back there. I'm always prepared. So I came across this area and I could smell a really bad smell. So I wanted to check it out. So I'm kind of going through here and I sort of smell something and I'm a little bit freaked out and I sort of think it's a bear. So I'm kind of coming through here. I'm kind of coming up to this tree here. Smell at this point is getting pretty bad and I want to hightail it out of here because I'm thinking there's a bear around. But then I look and I see, unfortunately, it's a fawn. So this little guy looks like he just passed away in the last, 24 or 48 hours. The smell here is pretty bad. So the flies, unfortunately, are already at him. This year's guy, he's got the little spots on him and stuff like that. I don't really see how he's been, what's happened there and how he's been killed. So unfortunately, sometimes you come across these things, that animals have passed away in the woods. And this little guy is this year's fawn. We've seen him and his twin, or another one like him, on the cameras quite a lot, frolicking around. I think you guys remember that video that I put up recently. And, so it's kind of sad. I don't know if he, succumbed to illness or he looks like he's fairly well nourished there and stuff like that. So I'm not really sure what happened with him there. We do have a lot of predators in the area. Foxes. Well, he's a little bit big for a fox, but we've got coyotes and wolves and bears and fishers and things like that. So whether he fell victim to an attack, although those guys would have eaten him by now, or maybe he just, didn't get a good drink and got cold and got, didn't have a full belly full of food and got low blood sugar and just kind of laid down and passed away. It's hard to say, or whether he was sick, had some kind of an illness. So anyways, what I want to do to see sort of, how things kind of return to the earth and things like that is to set up my trail camera and just sort of see, what happens, whether other animals come in and nourish themselves on him or whether he just sort of decomposes slowly over time. My feeling is because we do have a lot of predator animals in the area that they will move in quite quickly. Probably tonight we'll get some footage of things going on. So we'll set up the camera and see sort of what happens. So right kind of by this tree here, which might be good for the setup, got my Browning. I'll probably set it on video. It's a pretty wide tree. I don't know if my strap's big enough, but we'll probably try to aim it down there. I'm going to have to use this camera to see and check my aim and make sure I've got it all set up properly. I'm also going to put in one of my bigger cards, my 16 gig card, because if it takes a lot of video, I want to be able to get a lot of it, not worry about it cutting out. So Operation Trail Cam mode, we're going to switch it there into, nope, not time lapse, video, right there in the video mode. Alright, so actually I have enough of the strap here to belt around the tree, which is great. As you can see, I don't have it at a very tall height above the tree. I mean, it's probably knee height. A lot of the predators we're looking at that would target the deer are likely no taller than my knee at shoulder height. So I've taken a picture using this camera against the, the focal point of the trail cam just to make sure that the shot would be set up properly. And this is how you would do it if you're using a natural kill site to see what's sort of in the area. So now we'll leave the camera, these bugs are terrible. We'll now leave the camera on for several nights undisturbed, and then we'll see what we have. Actually, when I was setting up this camera, I probably should have worn some gloves because we do have a lot of scent, obviously, at all times on our hands. and animals can certainly smell that. So they'll probably smell me that I was here, and sometimes they'll go in and explore the camera. But I'm certain that it won't be too much of a deterrent for them to come in for a quick meal. When you do a lot of trail camera work that I do, you know, it's amazing to see all the animals in action. I don't bait in to the trail cameras, but what I will do is place cameras on natural kill sites or natural events that have happened, and sometimes that's sort of the, you know, that's where you get some amazing shots, and this is the least intrusive way of you know, kind of looking in at what these animals do when our eyes aren't watching. So yeah, this is how I've done it. I did that one camera there on the elk kill site, and there was another deer site as well that I placed up a camera, and some very interesting things were discovered, and that I learned actually from placement of those cameras. Just a quick update. I'm back hiking here, and look I found my trail camera. I was totally down the wrong trail. So this is great news, and it's taking a picture of me right now, my glorious thumbs up that I found it. Woohoo! This is wonderful. I'm excited. I want to see what's going down up here. Yeah, this area looked way more familiar to me. Just hiking in, putting that camera up for that deer, and I'm just hiking out, and yay, found the camera. So we're really interested to see. Maybe there's some evidence of what went on with the deer on this camera. Now that I found that old trail camera, I kind of want to get an angle at it this way, because the animals may come up this. Looks like there's already a little bit of a trail here. One camera's here, so I think I'm going to set up a pole here overlooking the site and set up that camera and see what's going to happen. Thankfully the ground's kind of soft, so I can push this in. Actually, you know what? Let's use the pointy end. Doesn't have to be too sturdy. Doesn't have to be too sturdy. It's only going to be here a couple nights. Trying to make a path. The animal can sort of see what's up ahead. Well, it can certainly smell it. Okay, so I've got this post set up here. And I made kind of a trail here, right to the deer. So now I'm going to set up camera the appropriate height looking down the trail. So I did some test shots, and it looks like it's a little bit far away for the kind of close-ups I want to get. So I'm just going to move it about 5 feet forward, 5 to 10 feet forward. So I have it set up there on the pole. I put a little bit of shrubbery, some raspberries that kind of tuck them in and around there to make it look a little bit more natural. But it's got a direct line of sight to the fawn. So I think that camera should work in that location. Of course, the other one is right there. And now with both cameras all set up, I'm going to go back to the cabin and get out of the bugs. I'm just covered right now in bug bites. Seems to sweat off all the bug spray I put on earlier. So we'll come back in a few days and see what we've got. Well, it's a few days later, and I'm just headed back in right now to take a look and see what's happened at the baby deer site. So my cameras are still set up, which is a good sign. Nobody dragged them off. Let's see what's going on. Oh, whoa. There's been a good feed right here. That's way different, guys. I know you remember the last time I showed you. Even butterflies are eating on the deer there. All right, let's see what we've got. Look at that, 14.8 gigs of 14.9 gigs. We got lots of video. 169 clips. Whoa. Well, the bugs are pretty bad out here, so I'm going to take these images back to the cabin and have a peek and see what we've got. Also, I don't want to hang around the carcass too long because I'm kind of worried that something may come back to finish what's left. So we'll head back to the cabin in the bug-free zone. So the turkey vulture is a large raptor, and Some people call them turkey buzzards. You find them here in North America, obviously, and they love eating dead food or dead meat called carrion. And as you can see, when they soar, they ride the thermals and they sort of teeter along on it, and they have a V shape when they fly. Eagles tend to be rather flat-backed and flat-winged sort of when they fly, and the vultures, they're kind of like a black V in the sky as they soar around. They have a really large wingspan of about 6 feet wide, and they're a large black bird with a very bare red head. So you can see that here in the clips, and that suits them really well when they're eating dead meat. It just kind of comes off of their head without matting down the feathers to their skull. Vultures like to cruise around in open areas. This spot's perfect because they have the field and they have the woodlands to explore. They like to nest in rock crevices and caves, and there's certainly a lot of rocky areas for them to nest around this area. These guys have a keen sense of smell, so I mean they moved in really quickly after this fawn died, and yeah, it's just incredible how quickly they moved in. It looks like they feed, from what I can see on the cameras, from about 10 till 6 at night. So 10 in the morning till 6 at night is when I've got them on the cameras here. And if you can see on the videos there, you'll note that the temperature in that area went up to 42 degrees Celsius just off the edge of the field there. Here the bird is panting to let go of some of that excess heat. It's really, really warm where the birds were feeding. You can imagine these birds smell really bad because of the meat that they're eating is rotten. They have to wait till the carcass ages a bit so that they can break through the tough hide to get to the tender flesh. So it looks like they had went to the areas earlier where it was easy for them to peck at, like the eyes and things like that, waited an extra day, and then they could get into the full carcass. These guys are a really important part of the ecosystem in the forest and the field areas and roadsides. They do clean up a lot of animals that have perished in these locations. White-tailed deer are pretty common around here. The fawning period around here is usually between May to mid-June, so this little guy is no more than a couple months old. And quite often, the female white-tailed deer will have one fawn in her first year the first year she gets pregnant, which is usually around 2 years of age. Each subsequent year, the does can have twins, usually, but it's not unusual sometimes to even have quadruplets, but I've never seen that. I've usually seen them have twins. They usually have their babies in a fern-covered area where there's lots of shelter, and the little tiny guys, when they're born, they're approximately 6 to 7 pounds, so they're really small, and they can sort of stand within the first few hours. For the first month after they're born, what happens is the doe will hide the fawn in the woods or somewhere while she goes and forages around. They aren't weaned from their mom until they're about 4 months old. So the first month they're hiding, and they're cached away somewhere while the mom gets her meal. And that's why it's important if you come across a fawn in the woods that's alive, don't think that the mom's abandoned it. She's just basically hidden it away so she can go have a meal, and then the fawn will nurse later. So it's best just to leave them alone. At about 3 to 4 weeks of age, the fawns are quite able to run alongside their mom, and they will begin to graze, but they're still nursing till they're about 4 months old. The biggest predators of these young fawns, they can be, bobcat or lynx, coyote and wolf, and even bear. Also disease can affect these little guys as well. Not really sure how this little guy passed away, but didn't look like there's any signs of trauma. It's rare for vultures to actually take a live animal, so it's most likely this fawn passed away, potentially of illness, and the vultures came in at a later time. So I'm back here to set up the camera again. There's 2 vultures circling ahead and one just back at the deer site right now. So I'm going to go and reset up the camera with sort of a really close-up view of them. Hopefully I don't spook them off too much, but this is really interesting. So I've never really sort of seen them up close doing their thing. And yeah, there's a bunch circling ahead now. Look how they ride on those thermals, eh? So easy for them. I'm back at the site now, and I just scared 3 of them away from a big tree above me. So there's a lot more in the area. I'm wondering if I can just hang around and have a first-hand view of things. Whoa. They want in to feed, and now I'm kind of in their way, so I'm gonna hurry up and get set up, and then we'll see what happens. So I've got the camera set up here at this site here, nice and low, angled towards the carcass and their little perching stick. So you'll probably see them kind of come in here and sit here and feed. So we'll leave them now to do their thing. Well, there the carcass is, completely eaten and returning back to the earth. So the bugs will do the rest of the cleanup, and yeah, things return back to the earth just as quickly as they came from them. Thanks guys for watching today's episode, today's trail camera story time. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great week as always. Take care.